Well, hello, and welcome back to the Spirit of Watercolor with Linda. I'm really glad to see you again, and we're going to do part 2 now, and I'm really excited about this because, as you know, this time of year when it's cold and it's been pretty dark, although it's getting a little lighter end of January, a lot of snow lately. I wanted to think about how to create artwork that will be very good for us to help us get through the winter. And so we're talking about calm, serene, healing watercolors. And we did a sketch and a drawing. This sketch got a little too wet, and yet it does tell me where I want colors and where I don't. So it's never a loss with a sketch. I'm using the colors of the aquamarine blue, yellow, basically, and I use some cobalt blue, and I guess I'm getting a green, that aquamarine with manganese blue hue. These are Daniel Smith paints, and you can use anything similar if you wish. This is a golden nickel Azo Yellow mixed with, I think, some maybe yellow ochre, which is transparent in Daniel Smith. But again, if you have a yellow you like a just a new gamboge or whatever, do you want to use whatever yellow you like, whatever blues, that you like. Because remember, in our part 1, we talked about how the light and the warmth of the sun and the yellow color of the sunshine, the blue, the calming coolness, so on and so on. We use those. I put a touch of orange in mine. And I think I'm going to change where I put it. But anyway, the sketch is useful in that it tells you where you want your paints to go and not to go. And this is Strathmore paper, which also curled a bit on me, even though I stretched it a little. But it tells me where I want things and where I don't, what I like and what I don't. And then I'm going to use a much more reliable Arches paper, which I taped down and drew up with the water-soluble pencils, and we're going to go in now, and it will be more controllable, as you will see. So we're going to do that together, and if you want to change the colors according to the part 1 that we talked about, what they mean, and add different colors in, create different mood or combination of moods. You can do contrasting things like the purple, which is on the opposite of the color wheel, with the yellow, and create some interchangeable changing moods in a painting. But we'll get into more complex in the next one. This one I just wanted to stick with the cooling, calming, healing. We're going to put on some soft, beautiful, gentle music, and you can do the same while you're painting, and or listen to mine. And we're going to jump right into this painting. So I'll see you in a moment here with the paints all out and ready to roll. Okay. So here we have our painting. You can see how much I detailed with the water-soluble pencil here, and I really do like that. Let me get this all in the video. And here's our watercolors, and I probably wouldn't hurt to clean the palette off a little, because I don't know, I've got a lot of this orange on there because I dropped it the other day on a video when I was loading the palette video. And so it's still all on there unless I do a really red, vibrant, fiery painting. But of course, as you recall, our yellows are where we want to go today, and some of the blues and some of the greens. So those can stay on the palette. I don't know that I'll use the browns today either. I was doing some videos on the earth tones. And like I said, I will clean the palette when it gets really messed up and things are really running into each other after a while. But for today, it's really okay to, just save those if they're not interfering and I don't blend too much. I am going to make some orange out of that. It's a Pyroline orange, but it looks red. Yeah, it's very fire engine red to me. But if you do a little orange there, and then we'll use this was my nickel Azo, which is a very goldy yellow to me. It's a neutral. It's not super gold, but and then there's lemon yellow, which is very cool compared. And then the yellow ochre and the gold quinacridone gold, which is a yellow, but it's a very golden, vibrant yellow. So we have these beautiful yellows we can work into the painting. And remembering our sketch, which of course, like I said, I had some issues with the paper and the way it laid out, but I do think the Arches paper will handle. Isn't my favorite. Where's my, let's use our, I can find it, my big moppy brush. Well, maybe I'll use that one since I don't see it for some reason here today. Oh, my Cotman student grade, I use it like a mop brush. It's supposed to be some kind of a flat brush, but it's so thick and it handles more like a wetting brush for me. So we'll wet this some in the background here because I want to lay in some of those trees and some of that beautiful golden sky up there like I did in the sketch. I was debating back and forth from the photos in the part 1, you know, whether to make the sky more yellow or more blue, but I'm still back where my sketch was, where I liked some of these really pretty blues in the sky, and then some of the sunny yellow in there too, so they're both gonna go in my sky. Again, this is your painting. You can do it the way you like. You can change it. You're going to put it on your wall, hopefully, and help us to feel that warm and sunny feeling on those days where it's a dark gray day. That's why, I really want these colors to get a little more vibrant, too. I'm still setting up a little. Okay. And, but I love how this paper normally handles. And, I'm going to start to put in my color. I'm wanting the wet to set up for a moment. If it's too wet, I don't have really any control over the paint. But if I'm putting some blue on my palette, and I really do love cobalt, but I actually do a lot of mixing my manganese blue with the cobalt, and I'm not really sure why I like that so much, but it kind of gives it some of that aqua feel, but it's still blue. Some of these branches may kind of fade, but I can always go back in, remember, because that is my, what do you call it, that wonderful, those pencils. They handle very well. I usually am a two-fisted painter. I have 2 brushes in hand, usually one that has paint on it and one that does not. I keep grabbing this brush and take it out here. I want my normal, good old-fashioned 1-inch flat. I'm wetting it well with my water, and because some places here I want to stop the flow and then spread it over here more, get that blue going behind the tree here, and yeah, I'm just letting my clouds they're slowly kind of forming themselves here a little bit. Okay. If it's not wet enough, I will wet it again. And we'll decide as we go, where we want. I've been told I have ethereal clouds, and I like that because that's the way I like clouds. If I'm creating my clouds, they're going to have that feel to them. We'll bring some yellow into this. just do that, and then we'll take a breather and let it set up a bit. Because I'm going to bring more yellow into the sky and a little more back in there. But I might let it kind of dry because it's spreading a lot. And I don't know, is it too much? That's the question. I don't know. I suppose not. That could be a very lovely painting. Well, so far it's way nicer than the first one. Kind of like the idea of just bringing in some yellow, wet on wet here, yellow trees, and then, you know, some greens and yellows. Probably a more blue-green than the sap, maybe more of a cooler. Maybe even the manganese mixed with the yellow would be kind of interesting in there. Let's see. Is this wet? It's still wet, but not wet enough. But I don't know if I want it too wet either. Okay. So in that case, try a little water control. Okay. And get a brush that can work for me here. I am bending toward one of my slanted brushes. I've got this nice Zabo bristle slanted brush. This is the smaller one. And I'm going to wet it. And I'm going to pull in maybe some yellow to start with. See what happens. This way for now. You can come back in. There's something about that yellow and the foreground that I actually like a lot. I need to bring a little in here too, but I think much softer. And I'd like it white, so I'm kind of wanting to minimize the amount of water. And this is just, you know, intuitive. And you can be that way too, you know, you don't need to be, you know, making too rash or harsh, you know, it's up to you what you like or don't like. There's a little land back there too, which I want to think about. What color will that be, right? That could also be aqua blue or cobalt blue, but a different like hue or value. This kind of came down a little, my clouds are a little straight down. I was kind of thinking they were going to angle a little more. No, we'll see. I'm getting that feeling of putting in yellow, maybe a little lemon yellow in the sky, just to see what it'll do. Oh, yeah. Okay. And of course, some of this could end up being leaves on the trees too, on this tree. I'm not sure yet. I like the paintings to talk to me and tell me what they're wanting to do sometimes. If this gets to be too much, I can lift out some of this, you know, and keep some white. White is a color in the painting, usually the white of the paper. Okay, ooh. I find this is coming out pretty nice. And I have mentioned I have a video on less is more, and sometimes, you know, again, you can overdo, so stop and let things dry and think about where you want to go from there. There's no yellow over there, but the trees are there, but I'm debating. So yeah, I'm going to let it set up and just kind of dry, see where we're at, except for right here. My line is kind of... We're not finished. was debating what kind of a, instead of an orange, maybe a Quin Sienna, which is a sort of an orangey, it's an orangey brownish color. Here it is. Oh, or that could be Lunar, that's Lunar Earth, which is an earthy, somewhat orangey color. We could bring that into the ground here. We could do that. Let that flow. It's very sedimentary, so it could add some interest if we could get it to. Sienna, actually. So again, I've got a little of that orangey color I was talking about, maybe in there. That could go in the tree or in the background. But aren't we having fun? And isn't this kind of a potentially healing painting? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you know, I like to balance composition, so, you know, if that color's there and then maybe it's over here, a little in the tree, and a little in a very soft wash in the background, I think we could have, you know, your eye move around like so. And that is a compositional winner, actually. So, okay. Okay, so it's been setting up and drying, and some interesting things are happening with it that I like. That's why I say sometimes you keep getting in there. You have to kind of watch it while it's drying for a while. And there's things I want to change a little, but I have to let it dry to do. You know, some of these need a little better definition. I need to decide, you know, what color things are going to be the trees. I want to put some more yellow in here. But I like how the water is going, and except for here, you know, I might want to add a little more. I want things to kind of connect a little more, but the basic colors and the feel of the painting is coming along fine. We will come back in once or twice more, and then we'll, you know, have a finished painting, of which, you know, there's always more finishing touches that I need to do even after I do a video with you, before I put in frame. And but, you know, this is just the first basic, you know, wash of colors, and they're vibrant and beautiful, and the paper's responding nicely. And like I said, I'm going to bring in more of that. It might be a lunar black. I see sedimentation, unless this, if it's, yeah, that's Lunar Earth. I'm sorry, I always call it lunar black. I have that too. Lunar Earth, that's the sedimentation, the granulation in there is just really cool, and adds, you know, texture to the land. I have to decide. I did put a little pencil into the, a little more pencil into the reeds, and I'll probably add either a color or a white into them after I lay in a little more wash of color behind them. And yeah, this is really coming along nicely. Yes, it is. Okay. We also need to define these branches a little more here, because they just came out really light. As opposed, oh, maybe that was my first layer, and then I added more down in here. And I want them to, as you go up higher, maybe toward the light, maybe they will be a little softer, but not that soft. Okay. I think to finish it off, the only thing I really want is to, this is quite dark, I want to put maybe some leaves on the tree that have that Lunar Earth and some of the yellows in some leaves. But I kind of think that I don't want that to overpower the painting, so it won't be like a lot of leaves, at least not right away. I may add more later, but I'm sticking with these colors, you know, the minimal palette. I'm not using the oranges after all. I just kind of, except for that Lunar Earth or something in a sienna orangey brown. But I sometimes, like I said, less is more. So, you you know, I'm just using a couple of my pointed rounds to kind of create some leaf shapes on these branches here. And we'll do just enough to kind of, you know, make this tree look like it fits in the fall or late summer scene here, I guess. You know, where we have, you know, some leaves, but we don't have, I want to say, I'm just going to put some here and there and see how, you know, these will add to the tree a little bit here, and I may put some smaller up here, you know, where there's some branches over here.